done. But it's important. I always look, when I look at a company, is has the management had a successful track record, and not only just in sales of companies or business, but have they met promises, milestones, targets, whatnot. People will maybe know you as an engineer as well as a geologist, but mainly probably as the CEO of Orezone Resources. And that one, I believe you sold for about 350 million to IAMGOLD.
Correct. Yeah. So, it's kind of this, we were, ironically, I felt I was the last mover in Burkina Faso in about 1997, 98. We were really the last junior in the door. And, within a few years, gold price dropped and I just started consolidating properties there. And it turned out we picked up the biggest deposit in the country. And within, call it another 10 years, we turned that into a 5 million plus ounce deposit. And it's now, the mine is turning out 400,000 ounces a year. So it was we had a very successful team and we stuck with it, and we had a new mining code there. There's a lot of similarities. We were really the first, the biggest debt facility approved for the country, because Burkina, was one of the 10 poorest countries in the world, and it was an old French colony, etc. So it was a great learning ground, and we were taken over and we spun out another big project, which Orezone is currently building now. So it'll be another big deposit, and both of those were discovered under our team.
And then you've added Don Dudek, who's had a lot of research, done a lot of specific work on VMS deposits like Pickett Mountain. So you've got him on the team as well. He specializes in this area. So you've kind of culminated and added people, as well as some of the old Wolfden team members. You've got as well, of course, you and Downey on the board as well. So you've brought a lot of the old team from Wolfden, but you've also expanded it and added onto it this specific project.
Yeah, we've really ramped up the team. Ewan gets all the credit and his previous team for his success at Izok Lake and High Lake up in the territories. And all of that history and experience, we didn't really know each other back in, call it the 2006, other than bumping into each other at shows. Ironically, I met Dudek in West Africa. We were crossing paths, and I always say there's really 10 really top-notch geologists in the world, in my opinion. And, we had one in Orezone, and Don Dudek is the same level and better in some respects. So it's great to have Don on our team. And I didn't realize then how much VMS experience Don had in his early career. So that's been a huge leg up for us this year. And then having Ian Atkinson and Don Bubar join us on the board, both of them really started their careers with VMS deposits down in the Bathurst area. They both spent some time in Maine in the early days. Maine was pretty, it was a new frontier back in the 80s, and the oil companies had all that money to spend. But within 10 years, the oil companies realized, metal mining is not for them. Metal prices went down and they left, and not a lot has happened since then.
So I'm glad you were talking about some of the management and some of the past successes and achievements in the past. And we've talked a little bit about the analysts as well. And kind of where that pulls it all together is part of the corporate structure or share structures. You've got Kinross and Altius in at about 21% of the shares of the company. That is interesting for a number of reasons. And maybe you can touch on some of those reasons and talk about that relationship and where you see that hopefully developing.
Sure. Well, Altius is there because they helped buy the property. I'd mentioned earlier that we had to purchase the land to get the mineral rights. So they were absolutely critical in buying the property without a lot of dilution. So they put up, out of 8 million, 6 million for a 1.35% royalty. And that's what's really driving them. They also put up a couple million, and they ended up with just over 10% of our shares. So they become a solid shareholder. They've also got a top-notch geologist, guy named Winters, and Lawrence has done his thesis on the Buckens mine in Newfoundland, which is a real analog to Pickett Mountain. Same, slightly better grade than Pickett Mountain, but it had 7 lenses to get to 16 million tons. We've only got 2 so far. So hopefully that is the analog, and we've got more lenses to come. Back to Altius, Lawrence spends a lot of time working with our geologists. They're in it to win it here too. So they're really helpful. And, but I think their end game is to hang on to their royalty, not so much, take over the company. Kinross, totally different angle. They came in a year ago. They came in at 20 cents a share, which was a premium. We were trading about 17 cents. No warrants. They like the value per ton. They're a gold company, one of the world's biggest, but a little metal diversification doesn't hurt when you live and die by the gold price. Base metals are often counter-cyclical to the metal prices on precious metals. So they see a great opportunity in what would call the backyard. Their head office is Toronto. They're great underground miners. And they said their best mine was Buckhorn, best meaning most profitable. And it was a tough little project to permit in Washington state. So they basically said, look, we see no problem with Maine. We love the geometry of the deposit. We love the grade. If you can double the size of this, because right now it's the equivalent of 1.5 million ounces of 11 grams. But if you take that to 3, which conceptually is not hard with the base metal size, then they said this is something we would like to buy and build. So they're in it more for, they think, of course, we're reasonably priced, and they can either make money for their shareholders in their investment, or if we hit the ball out of the park, then they've got a seat at the table because they own 10% of the shares.
Excellent. I wanted to really touch on that because it's what people kind of want to see. Well, where's this going? We see all sorts of different models and theories and exploration or project generator models. It's nice to see that you already kind of see different scenarios prepared in your head moving forward, and some of the right teams of people as well that are in it early.
Well, a lot of these things, junior companies are still the pipeline for the bigger companies. And Kinross has had a huge presence in West Africa, where I spent most of my career. I know a lot of these people. We know a lot of what our strengths are. So like Altius, their geologist is coming down, seeing the property, putting in input. So when you have a geo in their midst that really knows VMS, and you got a miner who's really good at underground mining, those are the 2 guys saying to their board, hey, this is something we know and we like, let's stay close. And we know Ron, and we know what they can do. So, this is a bit, I think, of a pat on our back that we're already pre-permitting, we're already doing our community work, we're running baseline study work on the project. Even though we're a small company, we work like the majors do to do all the right steps early on. And that really paves the way to a potential takeover later when you don't make mistakes and you don't cause problems. So at the end of the day, we've got all the ability to build this thing, but inevitably, if you're really successful in exploration, somebody takes you over anyway. And the more you can do to build it yourself, the better the premium is when you get taken over.
Yeah, and having that knowledge, having done it before, and enough people in the team with a lot of experiences, you know how to build it all along the way, each step of the way, that it's attractive to any major as well. So often there might be a team that's new and doesn't know that like a major wants to see the following check boxes done on site, the way you're operating, the way you're logging everything. They may not know that. They may have never had any experience dealing with the majors, knowing that if you're going to hand over the package to a possible sale, every single thing has to be checked. If it's not, it's going to be a bit an onerous process. So it's nice knowing that you have the option to move forward with this on your own, stand alone, but that there is the exact process is how to attract a major is also very well understood.
Yeah. Yeah, we're only going to get to bill it ourselves if metal prices are in the right ballpark, right? Like we're not going to go and kill the company with dilution just because we know how to build a mine. But, you know, there's the rare moment in junior mining when you're permitted, you're ready to build, and metal prices are so high you can finance it yourself. And hopefully that happens. And if not, you know, along the way we still might merge in with a bigger partner so that we can build it with a better balance sheet.
Well, we're facing an exciting opportunity right now. We're seeing a lot more interest in the mining sector. There's a lot of, I look at that as that creates urgency too, because I look at it as the second inning of hopefully a long mining run. But finding the right management, which of course you guys have, with a great jurisdiction, great project, so much data already within a team that's, you know, will hopefully extend and expand this to where we hope. There's a huge upside in this, and I know you can't kind of make claims like that, but there really is. This is definitely a stock to look at, to keep an eye on, and to watch for news to see what developments are, because it really checks off all the boxes that whenever I look at a company. So I really thank you for taking the time and sharing with us the opportunity here and in Maine, and we're really looking forward to seeing the news and the results coming forward.
Sounds great. Well, thanks for having me on air here, Andrew. You have a good day.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.